Grass in your garden. Okay, so this is a grass-fed garden bed where we keep layering in the grass that we cut. But I haven't been in here a little bit, and we have grass that's gone to seed. What do? Well, we don't cut the grass that's gone into seed and put it on our beds, because while the seeds will show up, germinate, and be easy to pick out, if we can take those grasses and seeds and put them in a compost pile and then heat them a few times, then the seeds will be inoperable. So what I'm going to come in here and do is I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this out. Now, some of it just pulls right out, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it off at the ground to get the biomass and keep roots in place. And I'm going to use a rice knife to do that. And I'll go all the way down this row and I'll cut out every plant that I don't want to keep. Okay, now some of the plants with no seeds in them will go right on the beds. But I want to be careful because look what I found. I found a tomato plant right there. Now I can come out after a rain and move that tomato plant, or I can just put a stake next to it and keep it. But I'll work my way down here. Now some of these greens, once they get too much heat, they'll actually get eaten up by bugs, so I'll cut that out. I'll be careful not to get any of the wildflowers, and I'll work my way through. But you can see in the beds themselves, very little weed pressure. Sure, we got some ginkgo type stuff in here, and we've got some wildflowers, but those are okay. Very little weed pressure. You can see the beds down there. Our plants are going great. Now, as I clean out the paths, if I excavated any of this path, I would throw the excavated materials uphill. But I would do my best not to get the plants dirty. You can see the leaves on these plants are very nice leaves. Down here, we got a little bit of powdery mildew. I'll prepare some compost tea to spray. But again, this tomato could use a little less pressure, so I would mulch around it to kill the weeds, and that would make it nutrients. These little buckets here, the plants didn't do anything in them, so I'll double check them. This one looks like it has comfrey in it. I'll double check. If there's comfrey in it, then I'll keep it, but otherwise I'll dump those buckets on the beds. And then you can see down here I salvaged some onions, so I put the onion pieces that were all dried out in there and got them kicked up a little bit. See right here. So those can come out and start getting spread out through the garden. But you're going to have volunteer plants like potatoes, so I want to mound around those potatoes, the different onion sets. And then if I have mulch, I can mulch the paths out. Here's some Brassicas that volunteered. Again, the grass with seed on it. We cut that grass and throw it in a path, or we throw it someplace where it's not gonna get seed in the garden area. But you can see, I can see footprints where deer have actually gotten into here. But again, different squash plants. Now this particular melon started by seed. It's a lot stronger than the other ones. And you'll start seeing little flower bulbs that come up by seed. So all this extra grass, we keep cutting the grass, and grass with seed on it goes into compost. Grass with no seed on it, or plants with no seed on it, goes into a bed to mulch out. And anything that's like just general weeds, woody weeds, we throw them right in the path. They get stepped on. Let's go up here real quick. Okay, I got a lot of wildflowers that have gone to seed, so I want to collect those seeds and clean up this edge a little bit. Tomatoes are looking pretty good. There's some asparagus here. I might want to stake that asparagus up. But again, we just keep cleaning up the paths. And I notice these paths I'm walking on are pretty soft, so I could probably scrape those to get some soil out. And there's some oregano here. And then, of course, we're going to have a compost operation. Oh, shows me deer have been getting in here. Deer turd. Some comfrey cut. But you can see how everything's grass-fed back here as well. See, these beds are mulched out. And I got a lot of plants going on back here that I can cut, trim, layer. And some of which can compost A little bit of everything. Get that compost done. That'll top dress the beds. Get the seeds out of there by hot composting a couple turns. I can trim back some of these trees to give me less shade on the garden, and it'll grow pretty good. I'm Justin Hitt from Prosperity Homestead. Visit www.prosperityhomestead.org for more.